my name is Yannick Anton. I'm the executive chef of the Cordon Bleu, Ottawa, and I'm joined with Chef Arnaud de Clercq. So today we're going to do the ramen vegan recipe. So this recipe is actually part of our new plant-based program that will be featured this summer, at the beginning of it. So we've been working very hard to develop a really interesting recipe, and that's one of them. So I'm going to start a bit to describe the different ingredients we have in that recipe. So first we do a bit of a dashi. So the dashi is the base of the Japanese cuisine. So this one, to replace the bonito flakes, the fish, I put some dehydrated mushroom. We have some kombu leaves, okay? So we made just a broth with both elements. Then we simmer for 20 minutes, okay? And we're going to strain. Some of the shiitake I'm going to émincer and slice finely to add to my broth at the end, okay? So the first step is we strain actually our broth. So it's very flavorful. All the recipe we developed are full of flavor, and that was the key of the work we had to do, is to really develop flavorful recipe that you can enjoy on an everyday basis, okay? That's why we developed some new stocks, brown stock, vegetable stocks, quite interesting mushroom tea also, that we include some fermentation also, that are included into that program. So here I just strain the broth, my dashi. You see all that beautiful color, that ombre color, quite nice. That will be the base of my soup, okay? Into that, after, I will add some red miso, some sake, vinegar, koji soya, a bit of fermentation, a bit of peanuts, grounded peanuts, some tahini, soya sauce. That will be all blended into my dashi. For now, Chef Arnaud, I'm going to go back to the cooking section. Is going to cook actually the pasta for the ramen. So this one are beautiful, actually edamame pasta. Okay, so you can take up, if you want, different type of pasta, as long as they are obviously vegan. And there is bean pasta or sweet potato pasta. You have many kind, different size or shape. So that's it's a bit free of you depending what you like. So Chef Arnaud seasons the water with some salt. Now we're going to put our pasta to boil, okay, until they are slightly al dente, so not completely overcooked, as they will finish to cook into our broth, okay. Also, Chef Arnaud is going to start to sweeten some the white part of the green shallots, okay. That's something that we'll add as a topping. So that soup has a lot of topping at the end. That's what makes it really a very also flavorful and nice soup to eat, because all those elements we add are quite interesting. We'll have also as vegetable some bok choy. So we have some absolutely beautiful bok choy, okay, very nice, fresh. We have also some edamame, okay. And we have a carrot that we already put in julienne, okay, so finely émincé, okay. Everything we're going to blanch them into salted water, okay. So Chef Arnaud is going to work on that. Meanwhile, he's cooking the vegetable. I'm going to get ready with my fake grounded pork, okay, bits, bacon bits basically. And that is going to be done with extra firm tofu, and that's actually very important. We already grated the extra firm tofu, and I repeat, extra firm, okay. It's quite important if you want to grate it, otherwise it will be mushy and won't stay in bits like the result we want. So that I'm going to start to put some vegetable oil. Voilà. We're going to sear it slowly to make sure it gets a bit of a golden brown color. Okay? Then after I'm going to add the other elements, which are ginger, garlic, red miso paste, sake and soya sauce.
Blend the julienne of carrot à l'anglaise, boiling salty water, be fresh in an ice bath. Just keep it firm.
And so slowly we start to get all also tofu golden brown. Okay, so the first step, very important, is I don't over sear it. I want first to get a golden brown color, then after I start to put it more in pieces. Okay, that's the first step, very important. Okay, I want to have a slight coloration first, and that's actually one of the elements who's going to give quite an interesting flavor to the whole dish. And you have a really a concentration of flavor by the ginger, the garlic, the red miso, the sake and the soya. All these elements, when they start to reduce and cook with the tofu, are going to give a nice caramelization to the tofu, and that's going to be extra flavorful. And that's really what we look for that soup, or all recipes we actually develop are based really on the flavor. And for us, that's what's very important, to have something really sharp as recipes. We have to say we've been working also with our campus from London to develop that program, so there is a lot of effort, a lot of knowledge from different chefs who actually came together to develop that amazing program. Voilà, so here, as you see, my tofu here start to get a slightly color. So that's exactly what I'm looking for. So now I'm going to start actually to stir it a bit. Voilà, stir. Voilà. And same thing, I leave it again to get color. Like I said, there is no point to over stirring it. You will lose a bit of the crispiness. Okay? Voilà. I can also, with my spoon here, I break it down a bit. Okay? As I said, we want to reform a bit the bacon bits. Really, that's a little crispiness here and there. So, voilà. Voilà, I let it color a bit more. Then after, I'm just going to push my tofu on the side of the pan, and I'm going to start to sweat my ginger and my garlic. Okay, so both are chopped, okay, finely, and that's very important also. You don't want to end up with big pieces of raw garlic, okay, or ginger. So important, chop very fine, okay. So now I have the right color. So I'm pushing my tofu on the side. Now I'm going to add a bit of ginger, a bit of garlic. Voilà. And that I'm going to start to sweat that, okay, with not much coloration at that moment for the garlic and the tofu. Okay, right now I'm not mixing everything together. I keep it a bit separate. Okay. Then I'm going to add my red miso paste. Voilà. And I'm going to toast a bit that miso paste. Why? Because I want to bring something, all the flavor from that fermented soya bean. Okay? Then I can mix everything together. Voilà. Now I can add soya sauce and a bit of sake. Okay, and now I'm going to glaze actually my tofu with the liquid, and I'm going to reduce to dry to bring really a nice caramelization. We keep cooking, same thing with my spoon. I'm still breaking down the tofu. So it takes a bit of time, you don't need to go too fast. Really the important is the caramelization of the tofu. To get really the right flavor, very important. And the right caramelization also. So you will have really a crispiness into your tofu. Okay. Now I'm going to take my broth. So my dashi broth, my vegan dashi broth. And at this moment, okay, that's the time that I'm going to emulsify everything into my broth. I put back some red miso paste. Remember, we have some tahini. Tahini I will add it towards the end. Voila. I have some grounded peanut. So what we do, we toast them first. Even if you buy them already toast them again a bit. Okay, that will bring back the flavor. Okay, it will make a huge difference into the soup. Okay, into your ramen. So here, alright, I'll serve a bit my red miso with my dashi. Then I'm going to add the soya, the sake, white vinegar, and my soya koji. Okay, so a bit of fermentation. That's an absolutely beautiful product that you can buy. Voila. So I stir everything together, and now I'm waiting to actually bring everything to a boil, and I'm going to add after my tahini, and also at the end my peanut grounded. As you see here, the tofu start to be very nice, start to be very crispy. That's really actually what I'm looking for. Very nice. So very important for that recipe is to not add the tahini right away. Okay, tahini is full of fat, so we don't want it to break. That's why I bring first the first element, the sake, the soya, the koji, miso together with my dashi. Soon as I have a simmering, I'm going to add my tahini and then my grounded peanut. Okay, voila. So grounded peanut, I'm not going to add everything. I'm going to keep some of it also for the plating at the end, and that will be a very nice touch towards the end to put on your soup. Voila. So now my dashi, the beginning, the first step of my broth start to be ready. So I'm going to add my tahini right now. Voila. So that I'm adding all the tahini. Voila. So we mix. We will mix everything with a hand blender. So that's why I'm not really pushing on the mixing right now, because we'll do a very nice emulsion. Okay. Voila. Now I'm going to add part of my grounded peanut. At that moment, I'm going to start to hand blend my soup. so you see, start to simmer. So we don't strain again. It's going to be slightly some pieces of the peanut, the grounded peanut, but personally that's what I was looking for when I created that recipe. So you have all the flavor from the tahini with very nice. Voila. So Chef Arnaud cooked all the vegetable. So now I get them really on the other side to actually build my soup. Voila. So you see the thickness, the richness of the soup, and the color is absolutely beautiful. Here I'm going to get one of the mushroom I actually infused for my dashi. So I'm going to get that into my soup. Voila. I have my bok choy that you put. Voila, that will give a nice color, but also is a vegetable, so will give some nice texture. I have my carrots. Voila. My edamame that I sprinkle a bit around. Okay, so here I have the white green shallot, the white part of the green shallot that we sauteed quickly. Okay, I have the bacon, my fake bacon, the tofu, the crispy tofu. Okay. We have our pasta. Voila. I have here some sweet radish, so that's something you can buy in Asian restaurant store. Sorry. Here I have my grounded peanut, a bit of the green of the green shallots. Voilà, that give extra color. And voila. So even also, if you want, we can use a bit of the kombu actually to slice finely. Okay, that's something you can use really for to avoid voila some waste. So that's something you can use in a salad. And I have a bit here for the one who likes a bit of spiciness. I have some chili oil. Voila. And you have a beautiful ramen soup, vegan, so very tons of flavor, very nice, part of our plant-based program. I repeat again, along with some other recipe that we develop over the years from different countries, Canada, but also Indian or Asian recipe that we put together. Very nice program. We try to develop always a program who are on the trend on what's going on in our society. It's very healthy, very important on this day we develop this program, and at the Cordon Bleu we really focus to be on top of the trend. Thank you very much. Enjoy your dinner. Bon appétit.
Okay, perfect. Thank you for that recipe demo video. I hope everyone enjoyed. So we're going to do the Q&A now with Chef Yannick. I have him here with me right now. So any questions that you have on the recipe or on the plant-based program, you can pop them into the chat and we will answer them. So the first question that we have is, do you have to freeze the tofu before grating? Wouldn't it crumble otherwise?
No, actually, it's an extra firm tofu, so you don't need to freeze it. It's firm enough to actually grate it fresh, but you have to make sure it's extra firm tofu. And it will get crispy after when you seared it in a pan, it will get crispy by itself. So it's a very nice product actually to do that. But don't get a softer one. The extra firm is really important.
Next question. What was that last thing you used, the green OG? Do you remember that last little thing?
The last, I use the kombu. The kombu seaweed, I cooked the dashi. At the beginning of the video, we did the base of the soup, which is the dashi for the vegan. So we use kombu, which is a seaweed, a type of seaweed, and we use dry shiitake. So instead throwing away those elements, I use them a bit in my soup. For that, that's why the last element I put, I do the julienne of the kombu. You can use them also for other dishes like a salad or other preparation, but we try to have less waste as possible. So that's why I showed you how to use it also instead of throwing it away.
Next question. This is more of a school question. Are there any scholarships available for the program or generalized the programs? I don't think currently we have any scholarships for any of our programs, but definitely check back in with us this year. We are still kind of coming back from the pandemic, and everything will hopefully be back up soon. But currently, right now, we are offering no scholarships. Okay, next question. Did you use tahini and peanuts as part of the soup base?
Yes, I use tahini at the end when I blend it with the dashi. Tahini being having a lot of fat, I blend it with my hand blender completely at the end to bring actually a creaminess to the soup. I also add some grounded peanuts that I toasted before. That gives also that little flavor, peanut flavor to the soup, and gives also a light texture.
Yes, and if anyone wants to know any more about the ingredients, we do have the ingredients in the email that we sent to you, the reminder email. And we will also be posting this video afterwards in the next couple of days. We'll be sharing it around just in case you aren't clear on some of the directions or the ingredients. All right, next question. The tofu, did you marinate it in anything before searing?
No, it's actually the nature. Why? Because when I seared, I add a lot of flavor, like the miso, the garlic, the ginger, sake, a bit of soya. So we add the flavor actually after.
Is there anything you would marinate it with before?
Or you can, if you want to marinate in a bit of sesame oil or even a bit of spicy oil. If you like spicy, you could. But because we grated and we need to have it whole, it's better to actually grate it whole than after you marinated if you want to add something.
Okay, next question. What is kumbo?
Kombu is the seaweed. It's a seaweed we use as a base on every dashi. Like kelp also is a type of seaweed you can find in any Asian market actually.
Great. Next question. Is there a peanut substitute to make the whole recipe nut-free?
You can take off the peanut if you want, actually, just simply as that. If you want to substitute by something, I will add maybe some another type of grain like or seeds. But honestly, just take it off from the recipe. You will still have the creaminess from the tahini.
Perfect. All right. For the dashi stock, is the water cold or boiling when added over mushrooms and the kupo?
You start with actually a cold water. You start with a cold water and you bring to a simmer and you let really infuse for a few minutes the kombu and the shiitake mushroom. But start with cold water.
Why we do not use the pan-fried sliced tofu rather than the thinly grated tofu?
It's just for the texture. It's a question of texture. I want really like some little bits. It's really important, the caramelization, the slow caramelization you have with all the ginger, garlic, and other elements. It's important to have that little bits. And when you eat the soup, you will understand it creates something. You mix everything together. So that's a bit the idea. Now, if you want to have slice, obviously you can. It's not you cannot do it, but for me, I was looking more like to have an overall when you eat the full dish, when all the ingredients are mixed together, to have really that overall flavor I'm looking at. So it needs to be grated, actually.
Any recommendations on the type of sake that would be best?
Not really. I won't say use a very expensive sake, but more on a floral note, but nothing too expensive for the soup. I don't have a brand in my head, but yeah.
Nothing too expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, interesting. All right. What is the cost of the course, and is this available for personal interest? Yes, so the cost of the course, I actually have it right here. So for the domestic students, the plant-based culinary program is $13,750. And for the international students, it's a different price. It is $14,525. And it's an 11-week program. And the only prerequisites that you need is a high school diploma or equivalent. So you don't necessarily have to have done any of our other programs. You can just come into this with your high school diploma and you'll be able to do the full program. All right. Are there any more upcoming demos and webinars like this one? Currently, no, but we are definitely looking to do more in the future. This was a very successful event, and we thank you all very much for coming. And yes, we will be doing more of these in the future. We don't have an exact date yet, but we are looking to do more. What is the cost of all the food items to make this? I'm not 100% sure. Would you?
That we need to see I need to come back to you on that one. I don't have the answer right away, but I can come back and see. It depends where you buy actually all your produce. There is sometimes a variation in vegetable, but I can come back to you on that matter.
Can anything be substituted for sake, or can it be skipped completely?
Can be skipped. Otherwise, you can add an Asian wine, which is a bit sweet, I will say. But you can definitely skip it, or I add a different wine, sweet wine, I will say.
What would you say is the most difficult aspect of creating plant-based dishes?
For me, actually, the most important was the flavor. And we work with the campus in London to create that program. And I did all the testing here in Ottawa. And all the dishes we went through, for me, at the end of the day, was really creating the right flavor. And doesn't matter for me if it was an Indian recipe or Asian. I really wanted to have the right flavor. And at the end, I always wanted also to have some French sauce. So obviously French sauce are all based with veal stock. But in that program, we show you also at the beginning how to do some stock, and we came out to create actually a vegan stock, brown stock, was actually almost the equivalent of the veal stock, and I could create a red wine sauce, by example, to give you a simple one, with actually a plant base. Using a plant-based wine, red wine, but also to have my brown stock made from vegetable mainly. So that's why it was really the work on the flavor. That's really where we focused a lot.
Great. How long does the broth / dashi keep in the fridge, and can you freeze it?
You can definitely freeze it. In a fridge, I will say around 4 days, 5 days maximum. Don't forget you infuse the vegetable in it, so it might turn after a few days. So, but what I will do if you have freezer space is actually make the broth, put it in your freezer, and you can use it for different actually purposes, not only for the ramen, for base of different soup.
Perfect. And our last question is your restaurant open for lunch or dinner? So this is a question that we get frequently. Our restaurant currently is not open, but we are looking at opening it up for events such as weddings and other corporate events. So that'll be going on this summer. We're going to open it up this summer. We have a lot of events there currently. Our next event, actually it's sold out, is on the 8th of June. It is a fundraiser event. But our next event after that is on June 19th. And it'll be a summer wine tasting with Natalie McLean. So if you know her, she is a very popular author. She has a new book that just came out, her memoir, I believe. And we actually just did an event with her last week, but it went so well that we decided to do another one. So this next one is on June 19th, save the date. It'll be, I think, from 6 p.m. to 8 or 8:30 p.m. And we will be serving just some small foods, as well as some summer wines that Natalie has personally picked out to taste. So we will start to promote this event today and tomorrow. We already have a bunch of tickets sold already on Eventbrite. So if you go on Eventbrite and look it up, you'll be able to find the page. But yeah, that is the next event that we're going to be hosting in the Signatures restaurant. But for now, for dining, it is currently not open. Okay, sorry, but can you kindly repeat the cost and qualifications for international students? Yeah, for sure. So the cost for the international students for the plant-based program is $14,525. You can also find this number on our website if you go to the programs tab and click the diploma in plant-based culinary arts. And the prerequisite is your high school diploma or equivalent, whatever the equivalent is in your country that you're coming from. I do also know that for international students, you might be required to take a English proficiency test. Sorry. And I'm not 100% sure which one you have to take specifically, but if you email our admissions team, you will be able to get all of the entire breakdown of what you will need as an international student. As a domestic student, all you need is the high school diploma in order to apply. So, okay.
Hi there.
Oh,
I'm just going
Brandon
to
wants
step in
to.
there.
Yep.
With regards to the proof of English language capacity, largely any standardized tests we will accept. So a TOEFL, a TOEIC, an IELTS, a CELPIP, a KL. We will, regardless of what the test is, we can convert it as long as it's an international standardized one. That's it.
Perfect. Thank you, Brandon. I don't know all the ins and outs. So thank you for that. Perfect. All right. Next question. Are you considering ever for the future creating some affordable light cooking classes for kids over the summer? So we actually do have, we did have a couple of programs for kids back in the day. I believe we had a couple of short courses for kids, specifically for parents to bring kids to. But for now, I don't know if we're currently not looking for specific programs for kids specifically. But we are going to have our next batch of short courses, summer short courses coming very, very soon. So you can keep an eye out for that. And maybe we will include a class that you can bring your kids to. Okay. What is the cost? I'm guessing, Robert, you mean the cost for the plant-based program. So again, for the domestic students, so anyone in Canada, the cost is $13,750. And for any international students, so outside of Canada, it is $14,525. So I hope that answers your question. Again, all of this information is also on our website in the program section. Next question, I believe this last question, assuming that we can make the tofu crisp in batches and store it?
Yes, definitely you can do a bigger batch of it. The only thing I recommend is actually before serving it, you refry it a bit to bring back the crispiness that you will lose in the fridge.
Okay, it looks like we are at the end of our questions, unless anyone wants to throw in anything else last minute, but I think we're probably going to wrap it up pretty soon. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Again, we will be sending this recipe out to everybody afterwards, the demo video specifically, and you should already have the ingredients list with you already. And again, to emphasize this, so for this specific event, we are doing a little bit of a promotion. So if you have joined us for this event and you would like to apply for the plant-based culinary arts program, we will be, if you either apply before or on the date of Friday, June 9th this year, we will be waiving the knife kit fee off of the program. And this is for only the first application date. So just a reminder, that first date is July 3rd of this year. So if you want to go in for that intake and you apply between now and or on the date of June 9th, you will be waiving that knife kit fee. I believe the knife kit cost is $1,250. So you won't have to pay for that if you do all that by June 9th. Okay, I hope everyone had a good time. Thank you all for being here.
And I just want to add something. So as I said, to answer when I was answering some question or during the video, we work a lot really on that plant-based. Was very important for us. And that's why we cover, to give you a bit of an idea, but I strongly suggest you call us and you ask question about it to understand it a bit more. But we try to cover many areas into our program, which means some are fermentation based on stock to create actually some very flavorful stock, who are the base of the cuisine, basically. Then we have the different, like I say, ethnicity, Asian or Indian or French, because I create also some modern dish a bit with some really French recipe that I switch to vegan. So what's actually very, very interesting. And some of my colleagues, which actually I was each time making them taste, they couldn't tell if it was actually with animal product or not. So we really came out to something really amazing into that program. You have also some bread, some pastry made in plant-based. So quite interesting. We cover really a wide range of different recipe in different areas. So whatever is a rice, grain, seeds, flour. So we work with, let's say, with the flour. I came out to work with banana flour, which is a bit unique. So it's quite interesting, I have to say. Very flavorful program. So I strongly suggest you call us, get some information because it's an amazing program. Thank you very much and bon appétit.